What's going on, PFB fans? Hayden Barber here, and it's about 1,000,000 miles an hour with the wind outside. So I'm here in Gallagher Arena at Heritage Hall, and we've got news on the football side today. As always with Ramon Richards, there's always news, but today he was announced as a safety rather than a corner. He played some safety last year, but hadn't made the permanent switch over. And also Kenneth Edison-McGruder, because you got Ramon moving back, you got McGruder moving down to linebacker, which is a position he's played. So here's Coach Gundy and Ramon and McGruder on the switch.
We used Ramon some at safety last year. We felt like that he had good range, made some plays there. And then we used McGruder at that position, Jenny, in the bowl game. And he's developed a little bit. He's gotten a little bit thicker in weight gain, and he's at a position. Well, at that position, he can cover the number 2 receiver some man and also support the run. And we like where he's at, so we're going to see what they look like in the spring.
McGruder began over there, right? And then moved back, is that right? It's kind of
yeah, back and forth. And a lot of that, Mark, has to do with that 3-down, 4-down concept that people are going to now. And so we're looking at a little bit of that on different down and distance situations. And the issue with that, from what I'm told, is having that guy that can play both. If you really have one of those guys, then they're potentially a high-round pick because they're skilled. And if we can develop him in that position, then it should help our defense.
Do you see Ramon in a position more like Jordan, or will Trey slide over to play more like Jordan's role? How's that going to play out?
Trey will play in the back end, and depending on who we're playing, one of those guys can drop down some. Ramon would be a guy that would play more in the middle of the field.
I played it a little bit last season. I played a little bit my sophomore year, so playing the position is nothing new to me. As long as I get to go out there and make plays, I'm going to go.
How different is it for you, though, going from cornerback back to being the safety where you have a little bit more fuel to roam?
Well, I just see myself as a DB, as an athlete on the defense. Wherever they put me, I just want to go out there and make plays. At the cornerback position, I got to be a little more locked in to the receiver. And that free safety, I get to roam around a little bit. But Coach Spencer knows, and Coach Hammond, Coach Duffy knows, I'm just ready to put the team in the best position to win.
At what point were you approached that this was going to be a permanent move? You said you had some attempts at it last few years, but when did you know it was going to be permanent?
I knew it was going to be permanent actually a couple weeks ago. I know going at the end of the season, like bowl practice, I was playing safety. And, throughout the season, I played safety in certain packages. And now, a couple weeks ago, they told me I may just have to play safety. It is no problem. It's something I've been doing since I was young, so I have no problem with it.
Does it excite you, though, to kind of switch it up a little bit?
It does. I like to run around and use my eyes a little bit. I get to sit in the back and watch everything. I get to compete with Mason a little more, so I like that. It's going to be fun.
I know the last few years, Jordan and Trey it took them a while to kind of mesh back there. How has it been for you and Trey trying to mesh these first few weeks?
Stearns and Trey and I have been close since I got here. So, we went through a really rough first year, my freshman year. All of us were out there. And, we knew what it felt like to, be at the bottom. We've grown from that. So, me and Trey's relationship has been strong since the beginning. So, I'm going to have a good time playing with him. I'm excited for it.
Still keeping up with Jordan?
Oh, yeah, I talk to him.
Any pointers for safety?
Yeah, I talk to him every day, honestly. I talk to Jordan every day. He gives me more pointers, more maturing as a young man more than anything, spiritually and whatnot. But as far as safety goes, he just tells me to go out there and make plays, believe in myself, keep the confidence, and play on my instincts and don't think too much.
How have you seen McGruder making that transition from safety to linebacker?
I'm not surprised. He is one of the most aggressive guys on the team. So to see him go down there and do what he do is not surprising to me at all.
Obviously, moving back to linebacker we saw today. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I think it's a great move. I think it'll benefit our defense a lot. I think it's a very powerful move. I think it can help us out.
Not only that, it's a premier playmaker. I mean, when you're playing that position, you get to be in the middle of a whole lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. That's what I love about the position. I'm up on every run, and I'm up under every pass. I think it's a great position to make a lot of plays.
What about the linebacker core as a group? I mean, Devontae's, he's gone. You also lose, who was who's at
Jordan
weak
Burton?
side? Yeah, Jordan Burton at the star.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like it's a makeover, but there's some new guys. New guys need to step up there.
Well, definitely we always need new guys to step up whenever their name is called. But I think we definitely have a lot of good guys filling in those places, filling that role to make a great impact for our defense.
What's the biggest difference in you going back to linebacker? You still play the same way for the most part?
Just down more in the box a little bit more. I still think you still have to be able to move like a safety at that position. So I don't think it's a big difference. I think I still be able to make a great impact at that position.
One thing Gundy mentioned was that's a position that NFL teams are very high on. For
Right,
you,
right.
that's got to feel good, right? Knowing you're playing a position
Right.
that, if you play it well, it could, give you a bright future.
Oh, right. That's a position a lot of defenses are looking for, a hybrid player that can play both safety and linebacker. So I'm very excited about playing that position.
The physicality, is that a problem for you?
Oh, no, sir. As y'all know, I like to put my head in it, so that's not a big problem at all. I love the physicality.
On the other side of that, how much did playing safety last year sort of help you with the coverage side of things?
A lot. I'm able to cover in space, cover one-on-one, so a lot of calls that will be made, you can kind of keep me in. You don't have to take that star out.
And you've got Ramon moving back now to safety.
Oh, right.
You have any conversations with him about any pointers or anything like that?
Oh, Ramon don't need no pointer. He's a great player. I think he's going to go out there and dominate the position.
How versatile does this defense have the potential to be between different formations?
Well, that's kind of what you hope for. There's a fine line there. You have to kind of search for the right balance. As doing too much, just getting good at a few things. But I have found in my years, if you line up and you show somebody what you're going to do, the results aren't very good. Offenses are too good. Offensive coaches. There's weaknesses and strengths to everything you draw up on our side of the ball. So part of our learning process this spring is going to be how much can we have in our toolbox to be effective on Saturday without doing too much, if that makes sense.
Is the key to that just depth, or is it also having guys like, say, a McGruder who can sort of play different spots?
Now, we have those guys. It's just what are you asking your guys to get good at? You change one thing and everybody changes. It's tough. It's tough just to play one defense against all the adjustments and formations and motions. So you throw in doing 2 or 3 things. Then you throw in trying to do a little 3 down and a little 4 down. We got a lot of mileage out of it toward the end of the season last year, but we can get a lot better at it.
You're moving Ramon to safety, and I know he's played back and forth in his time here. Is that a sign that you like those young cornerbacks?
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, we can always put Ramon back, so that's the good thing about spring ball. Nobody's keeping score. So if we had to line up tomorrow, I don't know exactly what we'd do. Probably wouldn't be this. But after 4 or 5 practices, yeah, we'll see.
What do you like about the young corners?
Well, I haven't seen a lot of them. You see some of them in drill work, and you see them in the off season. But until they start lining up against Marcel Laitman and James Washington, we'll see.
Now, Ramon wasn't obviously the only thing that was talked about at Gundy's press conference today. He talked a lot about the running back core with Justice Hill there, obviously, and Jeff Carr, but behind that, not too many options, and also on the defensive line where, in the exact opposite way, you've got far too many options. So here's Gundy's thoughts on all of that.
Ball a lot more in spring. His role was diminished last year because the emergence of Justice. And then Chris was here. Obviously, Chris is gone now. And so his body's changed. And I would love for him to develop in that role. But you got a couple guys that will be right there on his tail that have had a really good off season and have redshirted and have developed with J-Ron and LD. So it'll be interesting. And one thing about the running back position, it goes all the way back to what Coach Jones used to say. You can find out real quick if you got real running backs. You can put them in there and let them go. And when they get tired and they get banged around a little bit, the real ones will stay in there and fight. The ones that aren't real backs, they fade pretty quick.
Mike, you lose some guys on the defensive line, but it doesn't seem like that's a real area of big concern for you. I know Brailford obviously coming back after he was maybe going to start last year. What do you like about the D-line situation right now?
We have 9 guys on the defensive line that power clean over 315. We have 9 guys on the defensive line that bench press over 350. 5 of them over 400. And we have 9 guys on the defensive line that all squat more than 450 pounds. And that's what I like about them. They're all somewhat mature. Their strength levels are very high. They seem to run well. Their attitudes are good. But I think we're back into that role that we had where we can play a pretty solid 2 deep and keep those guys fresh. And I think in this league, that's really important in the success and the duration of trying to make it through all the way up through November. It was like Barry's article this morning in basketball. In this league, your defense gets beat up in November. Just like our schedule, we got the best basketball league in the country, but nobody knows it because they beat each other up for 2 months. That's what happens to defensive guys in football. And, of course, everybody in the country says, well, you're no good on defense or whatever. Well, they're in a track meet every week, too. So that's what I like about our defensive line. Hopefully, Brailford, who's been turned loose, will be able to develop, sustain the pounding, because we really liked him in the Sugar Bowl. We thought he played as well as any defensive lineman we had in the Sugar Bowl, and then we lost him last year to that stress fracture. And if he's up and running, he should really give us an added lift. His body is really developed. He looks good, and he's mature at this point. Quarterback experience. We were a little more experienced then at the running back spot with Joe Randall. He was on that team, right? Justice is a good player, but obviously not as experienced as Joe. Had a group of wideouts then, and we had Blackman, who's, Washington could be comparable to him either way, arguably. The good news is maybe better on defense than we were then. But those teams were really good at forcing turnovers, which allowed us to get more opportunities, and then we get in a track meet, we could outscore you. And a lot of what we do in this league is come to that anyway. So we talk about that, the strategy of based on what our personnel is and what we think we can do in all 3 phases. So there are a lot of similarities. Hope it turns out that way.
What do you like about this defense compared to that one?
I just think we have more depth. I think that we've recruited longer. I think that our culture's in place, and we have more depth than we did then. We, what John said earlier, we got to hit on a couple corners. We got to get a couple guys that we can trust that can play. Now, we're going to play multiple guys, but at some point you got to have guys in there in key situations that are fresh that you trust. Because as we mentioned now, you got to be able to cover a little bit in this league, and so we've got to develop some guys. I think we're going to be much better at those 2 positions in October, middle of October, than we are September 1.
That'll do it for me here in GIA and Heritage Hall, and a good day for the media, at least. I got to watch a little bit of warm-ups the first day of spring ball, and got to talk with Gundy, which is always worthy of a quote or two. So that'll do it for me inside Gallagher Arena. For PFB, I'm Hayden Barber.